And welcome back to Pokemon Team Videos. Today's Pokemon Team video comes to us from JRC, who asked the question, what is Genkai from Yu Yu Hakusho's Pokemon Team? The ever-lovable curmudgeon of a teacher that Yusuke Urameshi ultimately had for his as his main teacher in the end. I mean, he learned from a bunch of people, but Genkai was the major master he ultimately had. Major master. And yeah, but as far as Yu Yu Hakusho goes, she was a fan favorite. I love Genkai. Genkai is one of those classic anime teachers, in my opinion. You got Master Roshi, you have Genkai, thinking old wise teachers real quick off the top of my head here. Now I say that out loud. I mean, there's plenty of them. But I guess I just don't watch enough animes or read enough animes where the old wise master was a big thing. I know there's another one that has a Master Roshi character and it has an anime to it. Was it like Fist of the Dragon or something like that? Or I can't remember exactly what it was. But yeah, it's Genkai, Roshi. Those are like some of the big ones. And if I were to think of just anime teachers, then I could go beyond that. But the question is, what is this character's Pokemon team? So right out of the gate, we know first off that she's not only a martial artist, but she is she's spiritually aware. It's actually very hard to. They never give a terminology for people who are spiritually aware. Like Yusuke is a spirit detective, and he's half demon. And if my voice sounds a little off, it's because I have the COVID. I've got a big glass of lemon water right here. So if my voice sounds a little froggy at the moment, it's because I got a lot of congestion and a bit of a sore throat. Otherwise, though, I've had it now for about 3 days. This is the best I've felt. The worst day was actually day 1. So, yeah, otherwise I feel pretty okay right now. But anyway, I digress. So, yeah, there's not actually a terminology for spiritually aware humans, as far as I know. Like, there is not a term for Kuwabara. He's just a spiritual medium, psychic medium. Anyway, she is both spiritually aware and a martial artist. So those kind of elements had to come into play. And a holdover, I believe, from the last video, Medicham. Medicham, I think, is a perfectly adequate Pokemon for a Genkai to have. I even think that if you were to have a Yu Yu Hakusho Pokemon like crossover series, in terms of like a what if, fanfic, whatever, when they meet Genkai at her tournament, this would be the Pokemon that is by her side. That or one of the other Pokemon that's going to be on her team. Because this is very much a kind of guru type of Pokemon, meditation versus martial art kind of. I think Medicham just works. I think it just flows very well. Being a psychic fighting type helps as well. Another Pokemon that often gets used in these scenarios, but I think is still it just fits, is Lucario. Again, another holdover from, I believe, the last video I did with Perfect Cell. Spoilers for that video a little bit. And this is due to the fact that, again, fighting type, the martial artist in Genkai, but also being able to use her spiritual energy to create spiritual energy attacks. Ergo, how Lucario can use Aura for things like Aura Sphere, sensing things, whatnot. So again, a Pokemon that fits on her team, I think. But now we get to some of the other ones. Some of the ones that you'd have to think a bit more on. And one of the first things that... Actually, Medicham was the first one that came to mind when I was thinking about her team. But next up is a Pokemon that I had to think. And I really had to think on what Pokemon represented this aspect of her. She had the ability to revert herself back to her young... Before she ended up the Spirit Orb, or Spirit, like, Orb, I think it was the Orb, to Yusuke. She had the ability to actually revert herself back to her younger form for an extended period of time. Back during the Dark Tournament. She was the mysterious final member of Team Urameshi under the guise of a different person, or guise of her younger self that no one would recognize at the time. And I wanted something that represented that. I wanted something that represented her ability to revert to a younger, more powerful, her prime form. And I'm like, okay, is there any Pokemon at all that can do anything similar to that? Because temporary transformations, well, we have that in Gigantamax, Dynamax, and Mega Evolution, but not in the same way that we have. That's not how Genkai's kind of works. I mean, you could definitely make the argument for it, sure, but I'm like, no, I don't want to use a Mega Evolution here. No, I don't think that works. So what else do we have here? And I'm like going through all the gens I can, and we didn't really even get Pokemon that could change forms at will in battle until at least Gen 3, because that's when you got like the cast form line. I think there was one other Pokemon that did something like that. But then you go into Gen 4, Gen 5, all the other gens, and that becomes a bit more of a regular trait you might see among certain Mon, or at least a more regularly seen trait. So I'm looking, and I think on this one, I'm like, it kind of works. And bear with me on this one. Cherrim. So Cherrim has 2 forms. And its abilities are varied depending on the forms, admittedly. And Cherrim can only access its full form, its full flowery form, when it's in direct sunlight. Now, that's not exactly what Genkai's doing, but to access her full form, she does need to exert a certain amount of power, or true, like her younger form. So, Cherrim being only able to access its true power in its full revealed form in direct sunlight is kind of a correlation to Genkai only being able to access her younger form with its full power, meeting other certain requirements. And I do remember her explaining how she did it. I just don't remember what it was she said. It's been a long time since I've watched Yu Yu Hakusho. I actually own several seasons of it on DVD, even though I know DVDs are becoming a thing of the past, but I will buy them until the day they stop making them. I still need to get the Dark Tournament saga, though. Dark Tournament is one of the best single seasons of anime, period. And it's the best tournament, honestly, in any anime. The only ones that come close to are the Dragon Ball Z tournaments, because those series, at least in Dragon Ball and in Super, revolved a little bit around it, actually focused on tournaments too, but it just wasn't the same, man. I think, honestly, it's... Honestly, I agree with my friend that who's also a big Yu Yu Hakusho fan, that the Dark Tournament saga is probably the best tournament there is in anime, period. But yeah, I think Cherrim actually kind of works with that. Plus, you get it can learn things like Solar Beam, which can again represent a spiritual attack, so forth and so on. This next one, I actually was surprised I didn't even have the image of this. I had to go look it up. Oranguru. This kind of represents the more wise, older aspect of Genkai, the teacher, the intelligence, but also, not taking things too seriously when she doesn't need to, and just being relaxed most of the time. Oranguru is a pretty chill Pokemon, honestly. I like Oranguru. It's kind of cool. And it's an orangutan, which, hey, we got an orangutan. So, yeah. The next one on the list... that's... weird. Oh, okay. I'm just sorry. Something whoa. I will deal with that when I deal with that. Anywho, I digress. So the next one on the list is the other Pokemon I said could be the Pokemon you see by her side. Now, I wanted something on the team that represented age. Genkai is old. Genkai is an old woman. In fact, I don't know how old they actually say she is. I could look it up. But I'm not going. I think she's probably well into her hundreds, though. Or at least in her late 80s, 90s, whatever. But she is old. But because of her spiritual abilities and, just probably a good lifestyle, she probably just lived quite a long time. So I want a Pokemon that is known to age and get old. And that is Nighttails. Nighttails are said to be able to live for 1,000 years. This is a Pokemon. I just realized I made it look like it's sitting right on top of Lucario's head. Whatever. It's staying like that. He's wearing a Nighttails hat. Look at that perm. Look at that pompadour of tails now he's got. I did not intend that, but it is kind of there you go. It's all good now. But that was kind of, I'm gonna hold on. Whoop, Ninetail hat. Yeah, Ninetales makes 100% sense for a character like Genkai. It's a very old, but very gentle and loyal Pokemon. Like, I could see that being honestly her companion. Whereas Medicham might be the one that she has, like, when meeting people at the tournament. Ninetales is the one that kind of just sticks by her side when she's just relaxing at home. You know, she gets, like, scratches her Ninetale behind the ears. And yet it would still be a very powerful Pokemon and all that. Like, I could totally see that, absolutely. Last but not least, this Pokemon. Now, this is the one where I thought a bit more, like, what do I need on this team? And I realized it had to be something that represented her relationship with Toguro. Her former lover, the man that she betrayed him, and she betrayed him, and he betrayed her in whatever fashion. And I wanted a Pokemon that represented something, that remnant of her hanging on to Toguro still. And I chose Machoke. Now, you might be asking, why didn't I choose Machamp? Well, A, Machamp doesn't physically resemble Toguro as much. But B, I like the idea of her having a Machoke that she does not evolve to represent the idea of having and if I ever did a Toguro team, yeah, I'm guessing a Machamp would probably be on there, by the way. Which I do believe I have it on the list of doing Toguro at some point for someone. But I think what I like about it is the idea that Machamp represents him fully embracing that demon energy or demon form he took that she felt was like the betrayal and all that. And turning her back on it, him turning her back on her. At least because she didn't go that route. That's why she felt that way. I like the idea of her holding on to the Machoke to hold on to the representation of who he was before he took the power. Because you need to trade Machoke to evolve it, or you use a link cable and Arceus. So, because it can't evolve naturally otherwise, at least as far as we know, how you get wild trait evolutions, I'll never know. It tells me there's other ways to evolve them. They've just never introduced them. Like, for instance, we have a link cable now as an item, which is awesome. But it tells me, yeah, that this would be the Pokemon she would keep to remind her of who Toguro used to be, but to remind her also that he's still out there. So when maybe in the Pokemon version of this story, they confront each other one more time, and it's just her Machoke going up against his full power Machamp. It tries its hardest, but just can't take down the Machamp. So, and that's, that's how he puts her team down, more or less, and defeats her. And in essence, in theory, killing her. Or at least in maybe the Pokemon equivalent, putting her in like a coma or something. Either way, that, for me, is going to be Genkai's Pokemon team. Now, do you agree with this Pokemon team, or do you disagree with this Pokemon team? Let me know in the comments below. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Hit that bell if you want to be notified. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.